Welcome back to part two. Yes, we've unleashed him. Saul, our financial ferret, is hitting the streets to fiscally quiz the unsuspecting public.
I'm here on the streets of Kensington to find out people's views on the past. How was the recession for them, and most importantly, what they think of Alistair Darling. Let's go. Okay, can you, in your own 3 words, describe your feelings about Alistair Darling?
He's a politician, which will make him a liar.
Funny, hard-working, and victimised.
Not quite incompetent, but struggling. So bushy, struggling, and...
Big eyebrows and white hair. I have no idea who that is.
Chancellor at the Exchequer? You've not seen him at all? He's tall, white hair, bushy eyebrows. Do you know what the Chancellor of the Exchequer does in our country?
No, sorry.
He looks after all of the economical and financial affairs of the country. So he looks after our budget. Now, have you any idea what the UK might be in debt at the moment?
No, I don't. It'll be a lot.
Do you know what the national debt figure is currently?
It's something ugly, and it's going up as we speak.
I don't know what it is, no.
That's the amount the country is in debt to other countries, to other people, to individuals in the world. He's in charge of our budget and the national debt. Do you know what that figure is currently?
I know it's very high, but I don't know the answer.
It's actually 830 billion. That's nearly £10,000 per person.
It makes me feel better about my own budgetary situation, but it's a disaster for the country. Mismanaged.
How do you feel about this Labour government?
I'm happy to see the back of him. I think it's been a failure, to be honest.
So you're ready for a change?
Absolutely ready for a change.
So do you think Alistair Darling's been put in a bad situation, or do you just think he's making it worse?
I think he's been put in a bad situation. He's trying his best, and it's not working.
Best job he can.
I mean, I think it's a very difficult job. So I think he's done the best he can. I don't know if anyone else really could have done much better in the circumstances.
But I think a change is as good as a continuation. So I'm hoping for something better, some better promises to the country and the public. And let's hope a change, is for the better.
Well, I think you'll be glad to know the statistics show that we might be coming out of recession this month, and we'll start the decade well.
Well, that'd be great.
Yeah, we'll have to see if there's a new government and how they'll change things as well. So we'll see.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Well, that was great. Loads of people knew who Alistair Darling was. They knew he had bushy eyebrows, but they also knew he was trying to do a decent job in hard times. We may be in recession, but it looks like we're going to be coming out, and we can look forward to a new decade.
Right, before we move on to Best Buys of the Week, I have to say, Saul, I find it amazing that everyone knows about Alistair Darling's eyebrows rather than his fiscal policy.
No, I agree with you, but you've got to remember that he's been in the press a lot recently, and while people might not read the articles, they see his picture.
Right, OK, fair enough. Right, hold on to your socks. We're going to fire through Best Buys of the Week. I'm going to start off with mortgages, and I'm going to start off with fixed-rate mortgages. Saul, if I don't want my mortgage to change each month, who's the best person out there?
Well, we've gone with a 3-year fixed rate. Alliance and Leicester are offering 4.39%.
OK, that's really quite good. What sort of fee are they going to charge me?
They're going to charge you £995 administration fee, but then you may have to pay for a survey evaluation on top of that.
Right, and what sort of deposit do I need?
You only need 20% for that rate.
OK, so in reality, that's a pretty good mortgage. Right, Craig, I'm going to ask you, a tracker mortgage, the one that goes up and down, that tracks the Bank of England base rate, who's best out there?
Alliance and Leicester again, and it's 1.89.
1.89. That's pretty
hang on,
good.
There's a 2% fee.
So they're going to charge me 2% fee for giving my mortgage to them?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And they're going to charge me a big wad of cash for that?
Well, you don't have to pay it up front. You can just add it to the loan. So,
right, OK.
But still, you will pay it in the end, so you've got to watch that.
All right, now I'm going to move straight on very quickly to offset mortgages. OK, so if I've got a pot of cash in my savings account and I'm going to go and get a mortgage, I want to combine the two together so I pay less payment each month on my interest. Who's the best person out there?
Well, at the moment, it's Northern Rock. Now, Northern Rock were traditionally the best provider in this market, But then, obviously, with the troubles they had, they came out the market, they've come back in strong, and they're going to offer 3.19% 2-year tracker for an offset mortgage.
Do you trust them though now?
I do. They're backed by the government. You can't have much more trust than that.
I don't know. Anyway, there we go. What sort of fee are they going to charge?
£595, one of the cheapest on the market.
And what sort of deposit do I need?
You need 30% to get into that rate.
OK, so still not totally unrealistic. Right, I've already got a mortgage. I want to move it to someone else. So I've got good history with regards to making mortgage payments. Who's going to offer me the best rate?
Woolwich, we've got a great rate, 2.94 lifetime tracker.
Right, OK, so basically I won't have to spend loads of money in 2 years to remortgage again.
No, you keep that for the life of the mortgage. So say it's 25 years, you get that rate for all the time.
OK, fair enough. And, of course, Woolwich are actually Barclays Bank, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right, OK. Brilliant stuff. Good. Right, now, mortgages going on to loans. Craig, I'm going to ask you, if I want to go and borrow £8,000 tomorrow, who would I go to?
Well, if you can't secure it against your mortgage, it's best to go with a personal loan through Nationwide, 7.6%.
OK, and what's the minimum maximum I can borrow?
It's between £7,500 and £25,000.
Right, and if I borrow £8,000 a month, how much is that going to cost me?
£159.72.
A month?
Yeah.
Brilliant. OK, fair enough. OK, now I'm going to move straight on to credit cards. If I've already got a credit card and got a debt on there and I'm being charged ludicrous amounts of money, Saul, who would I move it to?
Well, right now, Virgin Money are giving a great headline rate, 0% for 16 months on the transfer that you've put across. You've got one catch, though. They're going to charge you 2.98% to access this. OK,
so basically, I've got £100. I go and transfer that from one credit card to another. They're going to charge me £2.98 to be able to add that on top.
That's correct. But if you go over the 16 months and if you pay off your credit card over that time, effectively, you've had nearly a 3% rate on that, and that could be worthwhile. Right, OK, fair enough, cool. Now, if I'm very good with my credit cards and I pay them all off and I just want to go out and get the best product out there, who would I go to?
Well, if you like a big spending spree, you've got a credit card at Halifax, which is 0% for 9 months.
Right, OK, so basically, if I'm a credit card virgin, I'm not transferring a balance over, just going to spend money, I do that with the Halifax.
Absolutely, but then you've got to worry, after 9 months, it goes up to around 16%.
Right, which in reality, if you compare that to what you're paying on a mortgage, around about 2–3%, it's still pretty expensive money to borrow. But anyway, there we go, needs must. I don't like credit cards, best use a debit card. The last thing, if I've got loads of money sitting in the bank, Saul, and I want to go and do this year's ISA, who do I do it with? Well, you're lucky to be having lots of money in the bank, but I would go with an ISA. Now, an ISA is a tax-efficient savings vehicle, and at the moment, Standard Life are offering the best rate. They're offering 2.65%, and that's gross, so you get the whole 2.65%. Right, so basically, Alistair Darling doesn't come and raid my pot for that? Exactly. OK. And on that, you can actually access it any time, but it may affect the maximum you're allowed to put in per year. OK, all right, fair enough. Now, again, if I've got some money and I want to go and save it, not in an ISA, but in a normal savings account, Craig, who would I go with?
Well, first ever got a 3.25% rate. The only problem is 90 days that you have to wait for before you can get the money out. Well, that's not too bad. So basically, I go and put my money in there. As long as I know I'm not going to need it for 90 days, I'm getting a pretty good rate of interest. Yeah, if you've got emergencies, though, you might need it. But yeah, in general, if you plan it right, that's fine. OK, fair enough. However, do remember, Northern Rock offset account, if you've got any spare cash and you've got an offset account on your mortgage, you're probably still better not saving in the bank and actually paying off some of your mortgage instead. OK, that's absolutely great. Now, if I want to save on a regular basis, Saul, what would I do with my money? Well, there's a lot of new regular monthly saving bank accounts that have come out. These are accounts where the bank will offer you a special increased rate if you regularly save monthly with them. And Barclays currently will offer you 4.25% as long as you put in £250 per month to their account. But beware, the max payment is £250 per month. And do you need to open a current account with them? They often want a current account with them, and there's maximum of £3,000 in there as well before they lower the rate. Yeah. Right, OK, but still, if I want to save a regular amount, that's a pretty good option. It's very good, yeah. Very good. And there we have it, Best Buys, fast and furious as always. And that's it from Money Men for another week. We will, of course, be tackling your financial consciousness again next week. But until then, from Saul, Craig and myself, goodbye.